tell me a little bit about because I know Matthew and I were in a conference in Atlanta this past January, and there was a lot of people asking about remote team members, a lot of them who hadn't hired their first remote team member. So what are the mistakes that you have seen companies make in hiring remote team members?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think I see the same mistakes of hiring, regardless if it's remote team members or it's somebody in the office, right? Right now, Lead Simple is a buzzword, right? At NARPM anyway, like automation's big. A couple of years ago, it was virtual assistants. Before that, it was some other shiny object. But Lead Simple is really bringing automation, and everybody is really working on their systems, their document systems, so that they don't have garbage in, garbage out. But one of the main systems that people don't have is a hiring system.
Yeah.
They don't have a process. And so some of the mistakes I see is the first one is core values. They don't have core values. If you don't have core values, you really don't know the type of person that you're looking in your organization. And if I don't know the type of person, how am I going to hire the right person? So I'm a big fan of Jim Collins' Good to Great, another book that's difficult to read, but I got through it. So I like how he uses the boat as an example, or the bus. I use the boat as an example. The core values gets you on the boat. The second challenge that I see is they don't have really good job descriptions. I've seen job descriptions that say basically answer phones, all other duties assigned by management. And if you don't know and you don't have a detailed job description and you're not sure what that person should be doing, I can guarantee you they have no idea what they should be doing. And so that to me is like the instructions for the seat. So I'm on the boat, I got the core values, now I have the instructions on the seat, right? So now I know how to operate the seat. The third thing that I see people do incorrectly is they don't use a personality profile. I'm a big fan of DISC. It's cheap and it's easy, and it's served me well for 20 years. There's others out there, and I don't have a dog in a fight on which one you use. But when you build a job description, you should know the exact personality type for that job description. And then you should hire somebody that has that job description. I'll give you an example early on. If anybody knows DISC, it's D-I-S or C. An accountant is a C. It's a high C. And I interviewed this lady, and she told me that she loves accounting, and she tested out as a high I. She didn't love accounting. She loved the idea of getting out of her job to get into a new job. And you can fake it for a few months, but over time, you're just not going to do a very good job in a seat you're not required for. And so just go back. They don't have core values, so they don't know who they want. They don't have a good operating system for the chair, so they don't have a good job description, and they don't have the right person operating in that chair. Should they be the back end rower? Should they be the coxswain guy where they yell and row? So they don't have any of that. And then the last thing is they don't have KPIs. And I know it's a buzzword and everybody's, but every role in your organization should have a key performance indicator. At least everybody should have one number, if not three. If they have 11 numbers, like my property managers used to have, that's way too much. If everything's important, nothing's important. The KPI tells me, how do I row? So if you want to be successful in your hiring, you have to have all of these things laid out. You have to have a hiring system. The last piece of it is most people spend way too many hours interviewing people that they shouldn't be interviewing. What we do, I've been working on this for years because for whatever reason, it became a passion. I'm like, I want to get this down to about 4 hours of my time. And even 4 hours to me is too much. Now I have other people do it. I just do the last interview. The last person we hired was yesterday for VPM. We literally hired him for our company. I did one interview. It took me 45 minutes. And that was mine. But my team took about 3-4 hours. But so what we do is we make sure they take the DISC test before I interview. So I don't interview, then have the DISC test. We make sure they take it for ITMs specifically. They take an English test before we interview. If I have exams, we have free training on our platform. So I ask people to take that training. I have a property management 101 course. That's 12 courses, 9 hours of content. If you want to work for me, you will take all those courses, you'll test out and you pass, you have to get those certifications. What does that tell you about somebody who takes 9 hours of courses? It tells me that they're really interested in the job. They tell me that they really want to work it, and it tells me that they'll do whatever it takes. They're going to be a great team member. So I make people go through red tape. And the negative of that is if you have 20 candidates, now I only have 2. Awesome. Now you don't have to interview 2 people and you select, and I would hire both of them, to be quite honest, as long as I have a seat for both of them. So there's lots of little mistakes that people are making, but the biggest one is not having any kind of hiring philosophy or a hiring system.